helmet show in the camera?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's in there.
That's a very old football helmet.
I'm gonna hook y'all up with a better one next time.
And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the YJR afternoon talk show with Shawn and Nick and our special guest, Coach Henderson. Welcome.
Welcome, Coach Henderson.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me.
Coach Henderson, this is your first debut right here in Thomas County Central School System, and we'd like to congratulate you as the new head coach for our football team. And we'd like to send you our prayers and blessings for great success as coaching for our great Yellow Jackets young players. And so let's get right into our topics, Nick.
Do you have them with you? Do you have the?
Yeah, it's on the Google Doc.
Oh, okay. I thought you had them.
Well, I appreciate that. While he's pulling that up, I appreciate it. It's certainly an honor, to be a part of this, not only football program, but the whole school system, and just be a small part of it. And we're very much looking forward to everything.
Easy.
Let's something that's been in my mind. Thomas County Central. What did that mean to you?
Well, and I've told a bunch of people this, but growing up at Valdosta and playing there, we didn't have the internet back when I was around, when I was younger. But we heard, we're not too far away. We heard everything about, we knew who Joe Burns was. We knew what all was going on over here, the championships, and me and Joe actually went to a FCA camp together. I guess this would have been the summer of '97. And so that was where we met. And, we ended up going to Georgia Tech together. And from there, I think my claim to fame at Tech was I was Joe's ride home from school whenever he was ready to go see his ready to go home and see his folks. He would say, "Hey man, ain't you about ready to go home?" And I say, "Yeah, let's roll." And we would take the trip down. So one time it was over summer, and it was before we started summer camp. And actually Central was going through camp at the time. Coach Pilcher, when I brought Joe in, we watched practice. We hung out a while, and everything was first class. That's one thing I remember. Coach Pilcher was very very friendly. Well, to me, I wasn't playing. So, but as far as, me and Joe just growing up through the years and staying in touch, have always talked about, had Valdosta played Central back in those 90s, that era, what would it have been? And we've had some heated debates about it. And anybody that knows Joe Burns knows he's very passionate about it. And everybody is. It's special because it's South Georgia football. When you think of programs that define South Georgia football, you think of the Valdostas, the Centrals, the Lowndes, Moultrie. You think of those guys, but Highway 84 football is special, and I'm blessed to be a part of it. And it's just it's a very, very good opportunity. And I think we're sitting on a gold mine. I think I think the kids are fired up. We got great numbers. They're working really, really hard. I'm excited for the future for sure.
Speaking about Ed Pilcher, that's how I see you today.
What's that?
I think there might be down history. You might surpass Ed Pilcher.
Oh man, well, odds would be against us. He's certainly a legend. Period. And let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I'm 0-0 right now. So, you're comparing that's a legend right there. But, to me, and one thing I've preached about or taught to folks about it and told our kids about, there's a standard that is associated with Thomas County Central, not only football, but the whole deal. And we're chasing that standard to uphold that standard in everything we do in the classroom, in the weight room, in the community, and with football as well. So, we're chasing that standard that's been set here by legends like him.
Yeah. So let's get to our topics.
Yeah, I do. Barbara Bush, the 41st First Lady, passed away. Do you know when that was?
Last night.
Last night. Wow.
She was the 41st president She was the
41st First Lady, yeah.
She was. I meant to say it in my mind, but she was the wife of the husband of George H.W. Bush.
That's right. She was a good one. As far as education goes, she was a big advocate for reading and children reading and things like that. So, one thing, she was big on family. The whole Bush family really is from, I don't know them, but from what I understand, but I know she was big on reading and teaching your children to read. So she was a very strong advocate for education.
Mostly all the first ladies are trying to make advocates too, outside the presidency.
Yeah. Monday we had the baseball, the senior night for baseball. Monday night, I think it was Monday night.
It was the same game again. It was yesterday.
It was yesterday night.
Yesterday night.
I keep thinking it's Tuesday. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, so it was last night. TC to our Thomas County Central lost, and the Rebels won 7-3.
Yeah,
I was there at that game. That was an interesting game. Thomas County Central soccer versus Thomasville. Girls tied 1-1, and also boys tied 1-1.
No, it was 0-0.
Oh, 0-0?
0-0.
Yeah, the boys' game was scoreless.
Oh, okay.
It was. I want to talk about the girls' game. There's been incredible plays between Jade Moser, Kara Eaton, Bree Woods, and some good passing assists from Yunwin Medina. There's been a lot of constantly plays against the Thomasville side, and our side, there was good plays, and this has been a really great rivalry match to watch. And to our boys team, it was a scoreless game, like Coach Henderson said. The environment in there wasn't you expect it to be, but it was Thomasville senior night, and I would understand how a lot of people would come up to the Thomasville Central game. Thomasville and Central has been rivals for a very long time. It's for all sports and student organizations and clubs, and this is one of the matches that you wouldn't wanted to watch. I mean, this is one of the matches you wanted to go because we had a full senior team, and Thomasville had a very young team since they won region champs. They were region champs this year, and they beat. I think they beat Brooks County or Barron. What are them two? They're region champs. Noah Voiles had great plays. Huntley Rogers, Daniel Holland, great passes, assists. Then we had some great crosses from Brian and Chandler Craven. Jacob Carlton was our main striker on top, and there was great shots that he made. Then we had Christopher Bryan. He was our right back. He made some good defensive plays. Parker Dixon. Basically, almost everybody in the team made some good plays, but it's been a big, tough match for both teams. And Thomasville has been winning Central, I guess, for over 9 years in soccer. And this is the time where our senior team was like, this is the time where Thomasville was going to start collecting those W's against us. And it became a scoreless night. And Coach Henderson, I'd like to ask you, how was the environment coming to that soccer game?
That I don't get out to a bunch of soccer games, but that was I was impressed with our kids. I think we're pretty physical. I thought we were very quick, very fast. We had some opportunities. I'm sure, I don't know when I'm talking about soccer now, I don't know anything about soccer. So I still don't understand the offsides, but I thought we had opportunities, and their goaltender did a pretty good job of keeping them out. But, I thought we were the aggressors. Our kids, man, they compete. We got some competitors on that team, and, Voiles, like you said, but I was kind of shocked at the end of the first half. It felt like we dominated it, and it was scoreless. So I guess that's how that game goes. But that's any sport can be like that, because we were down on their side of the field that whole time. But the atmosphere was great. I thought, looked a little chippy out there at times, between the two teams, which is to be expected in that matchup, any sport between the two schools. So I thought it was very entertaining. I know that, boys and girls.
Yeah.
We have a game against Cairo tomorrow. Girls at 5:30, everything girl and boys at 7:30. It's against the Surmakers at Cairo. So if you have time, come out, support our Yellow Jackets. And let's get right into the interview with Coach Henderson. He is our special guest today.
We do have a question from Mr. Young for you. What should we expect for our spring game? Lots of excitement in the community.
Yeah, it'll really be an offense versus defense scrimmage type thing. Now, I think we will look into doing the scoring, like some different schools do, where if you get a stop, the defense gets 3 points or whatever it is, and ways to make it competitive even more so than it will be. But, we're looking to play everybody, obviously, in the spring, play everybody, but get everybody on film that night, get everybody evaluated. But at the same time, give everybody, our supporters, a taste of what they've been hearing about. That was part of it. What was very important to me is that we end on a positive note. The playbook's going to be, we won't have everything in that we will have in, but we'll be starting to shape it at that point. We'll figure out what we're good at, what we're not good at, who are we, those type things. So, we'll be able to play at a, hopefully by that time, we know our pace will be fast pace. We'll be, using multiple tempos, and with those spring games, you'd like it to be minimize penalties, knock on wood, hopefully no injuries, avoid the big injury, and, take that as a springboard into your summer, is ready to go into summer OTAs and keep getting better. So, the spring game, but it will be the first true live look in the stadium of what we're going to be doing. So I'm really excited about that.
Who will our kickers be?
That's a work in progress. We got a couple guys that are on the soccer team that have said they want to come give it a shot. There's a couple guys that are working out with us right now that are not soccer players, but they're working out with us that have saying they want to give it a shot. So right now I have 4 guys listed. So, I don't, to tell you the truth, I don't know, how you would rank them at this point. Yeah. So we got about 4 or 5 kids, and, from what I saw at the soccer game the other night, we got kickers. They just might not be, they're playing soccer right now too. Yeah. So I think, and that's one thing we're looking to make a strength for us, our kicking game. And we are going to stress that a lot. We're going to be, we're going to be, coached up on special teams. We're going to attack on special teams, and we're going to spend a lot of time on it. So that's a big part of who we are. So we got to find a couple guys to go in there and compete, just like you want to compete at quarterback or compete at every other position on the field.
Yeah. So let's get right to the interview. Tell us more about yourself.
Well, I moved to Valdosta, Georgia when I was 11. I was born in North Florida, Pensacola, moved to Jacksonville, but moved to Valdosta when I was 11. Played at Valdosta High School under Nick Hyder, who is, one of the legends over there. And Coach O'Brien actually Mike O'Brien took over my junior and senior year. So I played for both those guys. Signed with Georgia Tech out of high school with Joe, like we talked about earlier. Played 2 seasons up there, hurt my knee, and decided I needed to transfer home to VSU. Worked out because that's where I got my start in coaching under Chris Hatcher. Mm-hmm. And Coach Hatcher's was Coach Hal Mummy's quarterback that set all the records at Valdosta State, and, in a wide open spread offense. And that's kind of where I learned my offensive identity from, was working up under him, learning under him, and David Dean is the 2 guys I probably learned more offensive football from than anybody. But from there, I got my graduate degree from their graduate degree, got my first job at my alma mater, first full-time job where it wasn't a graduate assistantship. We won the national championship at Valdosta State. I was coaching running backs in 2004. So 2005, I got a full-time job at Valdosta High School coaching offensive line, which was my alma mater. And I thought that was, there was nothing more I ever wanted than to coach at Valdosta High. And, after a couple years there, I realized I wanted to be a head coach. And to be a head coach, you had to get head coaching experience. And just so happened a job at a private school opened. I was at Valdosta 7 years, but a job at Valwood opened, and been there the last 6 years. We won 3 state championships and got beat in 1. But one of the proudest stats I got is we have through 6 years we signed 21 kids to college scholarships. So that's pretty sporty at any school. So. And the one thing, the big question mark a lot of people have, and it's fair, the jump from Valwood to Central. Well, I cut my teeth at Valdosta State and Valdosta High as well. So, I was when I got here, one thing I think that really helped me coming from Valwood is I know how I want every aspect of the program run, as far as academics, as far as recruiting, as far as everything. So, as I delegate, as you learn to delegate these different things, you're able to tell folks this is how you want it done. And so I think it's an advantage coming into this job right here.
Your success at Valwood's really surprised everyone at Thomas County Central. And I would like to ask you, what was your biggest football philosophy?
We're biggest flaw, probably, we're going to play defense first. And everybody wants to talk about the offense, but we're going to play D first. We want to get them off the field. We want our runners and hitters on defense. We want our guys to, we want our defense to, what we're trying to teach is, a war daddy mentality on defense that, that we're going to hunt, we're going to stalk folks. We're going to, we're going to be physical when we get to the football, and we're going to swarm that ball. So, that's first and foremost is defense. We're going to play a physical brand of football and hustle and get to the ball. Offensively, we want to spread the ball around. To me, a balanced offense is one in that a bunch of different people touch the ball. It's not necessarily run pass. So, I like to get the ball to guys in space, and let them go one on. Some people call it basketball on grass. That's not an insult to me. It's a fast paced basketball on grass. If that's what you like to call it, that is what it is. But we're going to be physical on offense first, and that'll start up front with our offensive line. So I'm excited about that. And we're going to, what wins high school football games is strong line play, physical line play, running the football, things like that. We're going to stress all that, but we're going to have fun. That's one thing we're going to stress as well. We're going to play hard, work hard, and we're going to have fun, period. Life's too short not to have fun. We're going to have fun in everything we do.
Do you know who your quarterbacks are going to be?
We got right now upperclassmen. We have 3 that are vying for it. You have Khalid Guyton, who's the returning starter, who's a young guy. He's just a sophomore. And Khalid does what I like to say. Khalid does everything right. Khalid does, as far as like the little things that a quarterback does, like, when you say, all right, jump in, who's next? Khalid jumps in first. And that's something that was probably ingrained in him from his dad, Coach Guyton, Coach Leonard Guyton. Khaled's had a great tutor his whole life right there on how to be a great quarterback, because he's got one that is his dad.
He had 3 times GHSA.
Yeah, 3-time state champ. Legend at Carson Newman. Me and Coach were talking about this the other day. Me and Coach Guyton played in the North-South All-Star game together our senior year. And it was actually me, him, and Coach Payne, our O-line coach. We all 3 played in that North-South game together.
Were you in college at that time?
No, that was a senior high school game.
Senior high school.
Yeah. Well, now there's 700 high school all-star games, but used to those 2. You had the North-South and you had the Georgia-Florida. And so we played in the North-South game up in Athens. And, we were visiting about that the other day, just cutting up and about how different football is now, compared to then. But, Khalid's one of our guys. Carrington is another one, Carrington Robinson. And then Chase Lewis, and he's an older guy. We have a rising 9th grader that I really like, but I just call him freshman right now. So, but we've been working with those guys, those freshmen, going down and running a camp with the 8th graders, and they're getting better. And he's going to be special, our freshman quarterback.
Let's talk about running backs, Jaylyn Dunbar and Darren Daniels.
Yeah, we're going to start off with those guys mainly on defense. Our numbers being what they are, there'll be when we get into different situations, we may roll those guys in, but those guys will be playing some running back. But from there, the other guys right away is DJ, Dondell Green, and I just went Lewis. What's his first name? But Lewis is Deshaun Lewis. I'm sorry, I'm learning 130 new kids' names right now. So, but I'm struggling with it right there. But Deshaun is another guy. Those two are working really hard together. I think they're going to be able to carry the lion's share for us. I think there is packages where those guys are going to get in there. But like I said, we're going to play defense first, and those guys are going to be called upon to stop folks and get our offense back on the field so we can score more. And like I said, when they get off the field, they'll get coached up, get a shot of water. They can play a little running back right there. But feel good about those other two guys right there. Ahmad Hobbs is another one. I left him off. I forgot about Hobbsy. He's a 500-pound squatter. So, and he's in that mix too. So that was no slight to him at all. I know Hobbs has got a chance to be good as well. From there, you got one in every grade right there. So, you've got good balance, good depth right there with those guys.
Yeah, that's good.
You're as new head coach at Central. The first game y'all will play against, during the season, will be against Thomasville.
Second game. First game's Early County, yeah.
Early County, the second game. The second game will be against Thomasville, at Thomasville. I got a message to Coach Garge, that's his name? Is that Thomasville's new head
Coach Grage?
Coach Grage, that's how you pronounce it? Okay. Well, you have a new rival right now. It's Coach Ashley Henderson. And like he said, Highway 80, is it Highway 85?
84.
Highway 84 has the best football, and Coach Henderson is looking forward to get that W away from you.
Yeah, that's that's one that the kids will remember the rest of their lives. That's the one, the crosstown rival, and it's a really unique deal. I got to play in the Wintersville game my whole life and coached in it. Valdosta and Lowndes, but to move over here in the Rose City matchup there is just as special, if not more. And I tell you what's really unique about it. When I was at Valdosta, you have Valdosta Stadium, and it's kind of near town, and Lowndes is way on the other side by the interstate.
Yeah.
So, but to get from Valdosta to there is a long drive. You had to go all the way around town, and whenever we beat them, we would drive home through town, and then that was pretty special right there because you'd have Remerton. And if anybody knows about Valdosta, what's in Remerton, but the bars were right in there, but all those folks were coming out screaming and hollering and hooting and hollering as you're driving back home, cheering you on. That was special. But I think what makes this unique is the proximity of the two stadiums. I think that's awesome. I think that's I get chill bumps just thinking about that we are 2 miles apart on Jackson Street right there. And, like I said, it's a unique matchup. It's a great game.
We're on Jackson Street. That's talking about we're on Jackson Street, the stadium.
The two stadiums.
Yeah, the two stadiums.
Yeah. So, that's really unique that, on Friday nights, you don't have to drive but 2 miles to go game to game. And so when we go hook up, it's, it's for bragging rights for 365 days. It's, and it's a very important game, period. It's very important.
How do you feel? You looking forward to this game?
Very much.
Central.
Yeah. We're going to take them one at a time. Obviously, you can't win them all unless you win the first one. So we're going to worry about Early County right now. But yeah, every year you look forward to playing your rival, and when they did what they do last year and what they've done in the past in history, with their history, it's always it's a big game and it's an important game, and it's for city bragging rights, and we want to try to get them back.
And again, a message to Coach Grage: there is a new head coach in Thomas County Central, and he will be your new rival. So I expect you to bring some competition to Coach Henderson.
You expect him to bring it to me or me to bring it to him?
I was thinking both.
Okay, yeah, it'll be a good match. Coach Grage does a great job. He really does, and he's turned that thing around. And they thumped us last year, so we they got bragging rights right now. So we need to try to get it back.
Let's talk about your. Can you explain us more about your family?
Well, I'm. I actually my parents still live in Valdosta, Georgia, so it's an easy drive for them to come see us. But I'm married with 2 children. My wife Megan. We actually met in church. That's what all our parents tell us. Yeah, you're gonna you're gonna meet your wife in church, not out at night. And that's actually true where I met her. She's we met in church, and of course, it wasn't the first time we met in church. Now I'm a little bit older than her, so yes, the first time, she would have been in middle school and I was in high school, so I wouldn't have noticed her then. But our families knew each other growing up, and so when we, that's where we met. We got married, and we have 2 children. Well, first we got a fur baby, a basset hound. We got a 60-pound basset hound that's part of the family too, and we have 2 kids. Charlie's 5 and Jack is 2. So, it's we got it's a full house, and it's full time for sure.
Changing the colors from Valwood to Central to these rich colors. Your family's looking forward to represent these colors on all the Friday night football games.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. This, that's one thing behind every good coach, any football coach worth anything will tell you behind every good coach is a great coach's wife, and a supportive wife and a supportive family, because there's a lot of time I'm being a father figure to other kids and not mine. You need that support, that backbone, and that's what they are. She comes to every practice with the boys, and supports, she loves these kids like I do. She'll get to know them. It won't be very uncommon for kids to spend the night or kids to come over and come eat, things like that, because we want to make it a family atmosphere within the football program. And that's important. That's important that we're raising these football players where my kids and every other coach's kids can be around and aren't going to get taught things that we don't want them taught. We know we got 130 really good role models walking around my children.
That's definitely really something special.
Yeah, it's important too to me for these kids to be around, my kids to be around, and the players to see me in more of a role than just a coach.
Yeah, it's
important that they see me as a father and they see me as a husband as well, and that to try to set a good example, and those guys do. Charlie and Jack, my 2 boys, they've been around a lot already. And these kids have already taken, BJ Smallwood and Darren and those guys, Tykeem, Jaylyn, all those guys. They see Charlie coming around. He's a little bundle of energy, my 5-year-old now. He's coming up to him, tackling him, and they're already cutting up with him. They know exactly who he is, and that's special too for them, because I am gone so long that when he's around, they make a big deal out of him. And that's, a testament to their character and what kind of kids they are.
We want to talk about the upcoming region games coming up. It's going to be Warner Robins, Veterans, Harris County, Bainbridge. What are your plans against these great teams?
You got when you get a region play, by then you know who you are offensively, defensively. When it's usually region football, you got to travel well, because there's 3 of those schools. That is a haul from here. So you don't have to travel to 2 of them, Harris, Veterans, and Warner Robins. Thankfully, we only travel to. I know we travel to Bainbridge. No, Bainbridge is home. So we got 2 long trips this year. So. We got to travel well. Yeah, it's a brutal, it's a ride. So, we got to travel well, and things that go into that is, preparing your body, fresh legs, hydration, things like that. But, by then, as far as who you are as a football team, when you get a region play, you want to, you play within your strengths, take care of the football, tackle well. Those are, as coach speak, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot to that. So it all, and a lot of it, hopefully, knock on wood, by that time you're still healthy, and you can, put yourself in position. Every game you're trying to put one team behind you to put yourself in a position to host playoff games, because that's what it's all about, is getting that seed, in those playoffs right there, and earn the right to host playoff games. And that's what you want to do.
What are your biggest concerns with football?
Biggest concerns with what?
Football.
With football, as far as implementing the program, just where we at right now, we're trying to build numbers, and we want to do that from the ground up. So, we have really good numbers right now. Like I said, 10 through 12, we're right around 100, still hovering around 100. But, you want to be sure these guys are buying in, because some of them are starting to hear about that summer schedule and they say, well, this ain't for me.
Yep.
And they're tapping out. And, with the work that they've already put in the off-season program that we're doing during school, after school, just the strength and conditioning part, they're in great shape. I'd venture to say a lot of the kids have said, I'm in the best shape of my life right now.
That's great.
They're stronger than they've ever been, and we're running a lot. We're going to be in shape. But there's no real concerns. I think you worry about what you can control and you control that, and you don't worry about what you can't control.
Yeah.
You can't control if a kid, can't cut it. He ain't going to be there in the summer. He's going to go vacation here and here and here. He doesn't want to buy in. You can't really control that. What you can control is your effort and your attitude and your energy you put into the guys that are there. And that's what we're going to do. So, real concerns is, really, I just want to control the controllables, really. And that's huge coach speed. I know that. I know how cliche I sound, but it's really true. Yeah. There's no real concerns coming in. We got to get a new offense, defense installed. That if that I think that first things first. But the first thing we got to learn how to practice.
Yeah,
learn the speed at practice. Learn the speed in the weight room. Learn to work. Learn to commit, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
Tell us more about your coaching staff. The whole coaches department you guys have been.
Yeah, we got a lot of them are already here. A bunch of them are coming in periodically throughout the weeks. But offensive coordinator Tully Payne that I mentioned already. Tully and I played at VSU. He's also our offensive line coach. Good buddy of mine, but he's a good ball coach. We coached against each other the last 4 years, maybe. And he was a head coach. We were going against each other, but it's always been something we've talked about. If we ever, land that job somewhere, we're going to go work together. Just kind of depend on who got that job, somewhere. But Tully's running our O-line, he's our offensive coordinator. We'll stay on offense. Lance Jarrell is a new guy. He's coming in. He's kind of the young gun on staff. He's the quarterback coach. Real young mind, sharp, really, really good quarterback coach. He coached our quarterbacks last year at Valwood and helped. He came in late, and so we had two between Lance and Coach Lastinger. But Lance, we threw for 30-something odd touchdown pass, 30, maybe 30 on the nose, 30 touchdown passes, well over 2,000 yards. Both school records, and he was instrumental in that, in those guys. And, he's young. He has a lot of energy. I'm really excited about Lance. Wide receivers is Coach Payne, Buzz Payne, who's been here. So he's not a new guy, but Buzz is a guy I worked with at Valdosta High School. So I know him well. I know how he works. I know his heart. He's going to do a great job. And he's already done a really good job of those wide receivers, getting them ready. I've been really impressed with Coach Payne and what he's done.
The only guy in Central, there's a couple more.
What's that?
The only guys that stayed at Central, like the guys you have your coaches staff. Is he the only guy from who's?
No, we kept a handful of them. There's others. So Coach Payne, Coach Cooksey, Johnny Cooksey, going to be helping with running backs. He's back. That's offense. Defense, I'll be helping with offense somewhere. Defensively, Michael Rigdon is helping with the offensive line as well, helping with the 9th grade / offensive line / sniffers, go from there. Defensively, Ryan Branch is that's a new name to Central, defensive coordinator. He's coming, his last coaching stop was at Valdosta, but he's been a head coach at Brooks, at Berrien. Let's see, linebackers is Branch will be helping with linebackers. Linebackers is also James Glenn, who's another new name. He's coached for me at Valwood for the last 2 years. He coached down in Florida before that. Dontavis Sapp is in the secondary. Coach Sapp coached for me at Valwood the last 3 years. But he played at Tennessee, was a team captain, played for the Cowboys. Coach Lovejoy is staying on staff. Michael Lovejoy is staying. We got 2 per position on defense. Lovejoy Sapp, Glenn Tanner is helping. Matt Tanner's another linebacker, defensive line / ninth grade head coach. He's a guy. He's stayed on with us. I knew Matt back from Valdosta State. We actually played together at Valdosta State.
Matt Tanner.
Yeah. Who's also the head wrestling coach. And then Philip Duplantis is our assistant head coach. He's our head strength and conditioning coach. And he was one of my guys, when you talk about, hey, what do we need to be successful? You need a guy, your enforcer, your guy, your strength guy, and that's him. Philip's that guy, Coach Duplantis. And then last but certainly not least, Coach Bill Wilhelm, who's the senior member on staff. Coach Wilhelm was a part of all the championship teams in the 90s. And, he does so many things that, even I don't know right now. I just know they're getting done. And, you kind of come to find out Coach Wilhelm did it. Who does this? Well, that's Coach Wilhelm. It just those things, and leads our FCA. And he's kind of our do-it-all guy, but he's helping with the defensive line. And he's been instrumental in this, in the change in the, as we're processing from one staff to another. He's been instrumental in making that a smooth transition.
Dang, you have big plans for this football team, don't you?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Nobody ever meets low expectations. So, and that's one thing. Nobody puts more pressure on myself than I put on myself. Nobody puts more pressure on me than me. And at the same time, we have high expectations, and I wouldn't want that any other way. I expect to win and expect to win this year. Now how much we win is up to us and how we prepare and things like that. But I have very high expectations for this football team and program moving forward.
Wow, thank you for being here with us today.
Anytime, man. I enjoyed it, guys.
Well, I got one more question.
Oh, you do?
Here we go.
Okay.
Well, you are the new head coach. We're getting new changes. We're getting new plays for this stadiums. What is your major goal right now for our football team? Other than the fun and the connection to the community and the grades, what is the most important thing you have in your mind for all of our football players?
That's a tough question. So what is the number one, I think we'll judge this team's success. One thing I like about coaches, we'll judge all of our success. It won't always be measured in wins and losses, although that's what everyone sees right away. But in 30 years, when this senior class comes home to a class reunion, that's when we'll know if we were successful or not, to see what kind of husband and what kind of father those guys are, and where they are at work and what they're doing with their lives and what kind of people they are. That's where we'll know what, that's the main goal. Let's use football as an avenue to help these kids be great husbands and great fathers and great citizens in wherever they are.
That's awesome.
That's a very great.
Well, thank you for being with us today on the radio show. We're going to wrap this up. If you haven't seen our previous episodes, you can watch them on our TCCHS Yellow Jackets YouTube page, and you can rewatch this episode and on the radio.
Again, prayers and blessings to Coach Henderson and his coaching staff for a great football season.
Yes.
Yeah, it will.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
That'll be really great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man.